Seniors are getting creative with their projects this year. Haley Mitchell, who has a passion for photography, has chosen to take a variety of pictures using different lighting techniques.
Haley says her grandparents, who are professionals, have taught her everything they know. After several years of practicing photography, Haley has begun to build a business around her hobby. As we are not allowed to know anything more about this project, we are all excited to see the finished masterpiece. Megan Mache, another senior with the great project idea in progress, has decided to design a new art gallery. This will take place in room 302.
Hi, my name's Ryan, and Ayana's in here somewhere. I can't really find her at the moment. And she has a very important message for you about Blues Club.
Ah!
Hi.
Hi, where'd you come from?
Nunya. Blues Club is taking off. Now that Sherman has pulled the strings to get the band a piano, he now works for, has a piano.
A book called Ricochet River. It's about two boys in high school in Klamath in the late 1980s. Thank you for listening for this is Channel 3 AoA Update.
I'm Ayana.
And I'm Ryan, and that's the way the cookie crumbles.
At North Eugene so far.
I really enjoy it. I've enjoyed my time, and I think at first it was a big change for me, and in a lot of different ways. But I've always believed that you teach the kids you have, and I had to make some changes, and I'm still making changes every day. But there's been just a lot of just wonderful surprises. Really, it's kind of a very whimsical place, and kids have a great longing to find their place and also to speak their own words, and I've really appreciated that about them. I've learned a lot actually from the students.
If you could change anything here at North, like student-wise or curricular-wise, what would you change?
Well, those are two very different things, but I think the first thing I would change is the attendance rate for the students, because I can't help facilitate change in a kid's life or improve their academic life if they're not here. And so it's very frustrating when you get a kid on board and you get them moving and working on their writing, and then they're gone for 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. In terms of the curriculum, I think the Northwest Studies program is really interesting. But I love the oral history project, and no matter what, I'd always include that in the program. But we make decisions together, and because I came before, I could participate in making that decision. So, but I've enjoyed it, and I think I'm working hard at trying to make it more accessible to students too.
Did you teach a different subject when you were teaching at the school you were teaching before here?
Well, I was at Sheldon for almost 18 years, and I taught all the AP classes, AP European History, AP US History, AP Government. Then I taught all the regular class levels, so US History, Government, all the economics. I have taught Oregon History before. I also taught the districts all their humanities courses, and I'm also a German teacher.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I've taught a lot of different things, and I'm used to teaching many things over the course of the year, and this year I'm just teaching one thing. Yeah. And in some ways it's helpful because it helps me concentrate on the students rather than so many preppers. The first few years when you're a teacher, it's very hard.
My mom was an English teacher too.
Yeah, so once you have your bag of tricks, I think it makes it easier. So I do miss all the subjects because it is, to teach the same thing all day. I mean, I think, and sometimes you guys look at me and I think I'm as boring as, after 4 times in a day, like
teaching the same exact thing.
Yeah, but so I try to mix it up, and because the classes are so different, it's never the same.
Mm-hmm. So going back to talking about the attendance, when you see statistics like we've seen before about attendance, like when they don't show up to your class, how does that make you feel?
Well, you can't really personalize how kids, their attendance. I mean, some kids will say, well, I just don't like you. And, obviously I don't like having kids who don't like me, and that makes me feel bad. But when I look at a kid who doesn't show up, the first thing I do is check to see whether they're showing up to their other classes. Mm-hmm. And most of the time I would say 99% are missing all their classes. So it's really a pattern of behavior. And often there's lots of different reasons, because I feel like if a kid's going to make a bad decision about attendance, we should do everything we can to show the kid that that person really matters, and we'll fight for them. Because I think sometimes kids get mad at their parents when the parents fight for them. But if they understood that negligence or just blowing kids off and saying, oh, so they didn't come, big deal. That's their choice. But really, when you're 15 years old, it's more, there's more to it than that. We should fight for the kids, make sure they try to make it to school.
I find that very interesting. You know what, I really do. I do, because I've even been, we've sort of had this conversation about planning this, talking to you about this, and there are, that big group of kids in these classes that are like, this is a new teacher, this is a big pain, and they don't really care about the class. But what I think is, I'm sitting in the front of the classroom and I'm paying attention to what you're saying, and you just have all this energy and this enthusiasm, and I appreciate that, because you're trying really hard, you put yourself into this, and you actually care to a point that I want to pay attention, I want to learn from you, because you kind of devote a part of yourself to us in a way that you're actually worried about us, you want us to do the things, you want us to pay attention, you want us to gain something from this. And that's not something that all the teachers really want to do. They're here for their paycheck, and I appreciate that really more than anything, because I actually look forward to your class, and I think that, getting up here and being all crazy, you grab all these items, you're so excited about it, you really love this subject. I appreciate that more than anything.
Well, that means a lot. That means a lot to me.
It does.
But with me, it's hard because I get irritated very easily, very, very easily. So it's kind of hard going into this is your last class of the day, and you think, oh, this is going to be calming. But no, there's that group of people that don't pay attention, and then people get irritated, and then people start yelling, and then everybody's all stressed out, and it's hard.
Yeah.
It's that creates an emotion to where no one really wants to pay attention at all.
Well, I think fourth period's always a trick. And I just think that if we live our lives interested in wonder, we become those people. Yeah, instead of limiting ourselves to what is utilitarian, because that's treating you like you're a thing rather than a person.
But how are you to cope with kids that don't want to pay attention in your class?
I think the issue of coping is not the right word that I would use. I think instead of coping, it's just the challenge I have. Your challenge is to try to be alert and with it, and mine is to find a way to capture each kid, because I can't people patronize you, oh yeah, and oh, can I be glad this class is over? But I have, oddly enough, formed a very funny attachment to that fourth period class, because I don't know why, but I really like that class, and I think you're really an interesting group of people. I mean, sometimes they're like, enough talking all
There
day.
is a lot of different people of color and people of different attitudes in your last period class.
Every person is so, it's true,
Uniquely
always
different.
unique, but in that class, I think it's a very lively group and a very, very bright group of kids. So, it's kind of go for the wild, and I feel less worried about taking you guys out on a field trip
Yeah.
than maybe one of my other classes, even though I'm sure I can just imagine, and you guys probably know who I'm talking about, we'll throw something. But I still have a lot of confidence that I would be able to have all of you involved. And so those are some of the things I'm planning, and I feel pretty comfortable about it. I mean, it's not like I have never seen a wild class before, but there's an inordinate number of wildness in the group, and especially fourth period. I think that you just get sick of sitting.
Exactly.